Welcome back, movie lovers. Today we're diving into a story of survival against impossible odds. When one mistake leaves you stranded and every second is a fight to live. Can the ocean disappear for a few days? Something like that happens in this story. At the start, we meet Julia and Tom, a mom and dad, with their kids, Cassie and Ben, having fun on a boat ride. Tom and Ben are fishing, Cassie is listening to music through her headphones, and Julia jumps into the water to swim. Suddenly, a strong wave pulls Julia away from the boat. In just a few minutes, she notices the boat getting farther away. Scared, she yells for help, but Cassie cannot hear her because of her music. Ben is busy trying to catch fish. Luckily, he hears Tom and Julia calling out. He quickly steers the boat toward Julia and jumps into the water to save her. Tom helps pull Julia back onto the boat safely. Julia is shaken up. She says she does not understand why the wave grabbed her since the sea looked calm. Tom tells everyone not to swim far from the boat again. Later, the family gathers around a table to celebrate Ben's 13th birthday. They give him gifts first, and Ben gets a new laptop from his dad. After that, they take a group photo and get ready to cut the cake. Then Cassie gets a video call from her boyfriend Adam. She is thrilled because she really wants to talk to him. But the call cuts off suddenly. On the screen, they see a huge storm heading toward the city. Cassie thinks it is weird because she has never seen a storm like that before. She tells her parents about it. At the same time, they hear strange noises from the sea. They look out and see giant humpback whales swimming near their boat. One of them bumps into the boat. Tom hurries below to check if the boat is damaged. After a while, he comes back up and says a sea creature hurt him. He is not sure what it was, but he has a deep cut on his shoulder. Julia quickly starts bandaging his wound. While doing that, she discovers that one of the boat's propellers broke when the whale hit it. Now they need help to get the boat back to the port. Julia tries to call for help on the radio, but no one answers. Her phone has no signal either. All she can do is hope someone comes to help soon. Tom says they only have enough food and water for 4 days. Then another problem appears. They see something shiny in the sky. It looks like lightning bolts falling from the sky. One gets very close to the boat. Tom tries to start the engine quickly, but now the other propeller breaks and the engine gets too hot and stops. Tom looks closely and realizes it is not lightning, but pieces of broken whales. More of these pieces are heading toward the boat. Tom hugs his wife and kids, using his body to protect them. Luckily, the pieces do not hit the boat. Still, it is too dangerous to stay outside. The family goes inside the cabin and locks all the doors and windows, but the whale pieces make the boat lose balance. The boat starts shaking, and Ben gets hurt during the shaking. Julia tries the radio again to call for help. Then a big storm hits, making the boat shake even more. With all the fear and excitement, Julia's nose starts bleeding, and Cassie feels sick to her stomach. Ben is in a lot of pain and runs to his room, but the shaking boat makes him fall down the stairs. The family gathers in the cabin and waits for the storm to pass. After many stressful hours, they wake up safe the next morning. When they go outside, they see the boat is badly damaged. The most shocking thing is that the boat is no longer in the sea. It is sitting in the middle of a huge, dry, empty desert. It is like the entire ocean disappeared, leaving only sand behind. Tom thinks something big happened, like when the Earth's north and south poles switched places 700,000 years ago. If that is true, huge waves might have killed millions of people. Cassie is heartbroken, worried that something bad happened to her boyfriend Adam. She locks herself in her room. Her parents try to comfort her, but they do not have much time. They go outside to fix the boat and gather as much food and water as they can. Ben helps too. He ties his birthday balloons to a rope and lets them float high so someone nearby might see them. Tom fixes the radio and calls for help again. This time, a boy named Nav answers. Nav says he is the captain of a submarine. His submarine was exploring deep in the sea, but when the Earth's poles changed, land appeared where the water used to be. He says this disaster might be because of human mistakes, like polluting the environment and harming nature. Nav also warns that his submarine's computer says this could happen again in a week. The sea will come back and destroy everything in its path. Nav tells them to climb to higher ground to survive. Before the call ends, Tom asks if their boat can handle the big change. Nav says the submarine might survive, but it only has room for 3 people. Worried about their kids, Tom and Julia ask Nav to save Cassie and Ben so they can survive. Nav agrees and tells them the submarine is 3 days away. Knowing there is a plan, Tom tells the family to rest at night because they have a long trip in the morning. The next morning, they gather as much food and water as they can. Then Tom sees a stranger walking toward the boat with a dog. Tom offers the man a water bottle to be friendly, but after drinking it, the man attacks Tom and pushes him to the ground. Julia runs to save her husband, scared and angry. The man attacks Tom's neck and kills him. Julia tries to warn her kids, but the man throws a rope that gets caught on her shoulder. Even though she is badly hurt, Julia escapes to the boat and locks herself inside with her kids. The man follows and tries to break the door. Inside, Julia gives Cassie and Ben a flare gun and tells them to hide in a box under the sofa. She goes to the bathroom, locks the door, and takes a knife for protection. After a while, the man gets inside the boat and grabs a box of food while looking for them. Julia ties a cloth around her shoulder wound and waits as the man gets closer to the bathroom. When he opens the door, expecting to find someone, Julia escapes through a small hole in the boat, but the man's dog sees her and starts barking to alert its owner. The dog chases Julia, and she has no choice but to kill it with her knife. Hearing the dog's cry, the man runs over and sees his dead dog. Furious, he searches for Julia. Julia sneaks back onto the boat to find her kids. The man attacks her again, kicking her in the face, making her fall. He drags her by the legs, but Julia kicks him hard to get free. She tries to grab her knife, but the man takes it from her. He hits her head on the ground, and her nose starts bleeding. Cassie and Ben see this, but do not know what to do. The man hits Julia's face again and throws her onto the sofa. He tries to choke her. Cassie cannot take it anymore. She grabs the flare gun, opens the hidden spot in the sofa, and shoots the man. The flare starts a fire in the kitchen. Julia quickly grabs important things to save them before the fire spreads. As she picks up a bag, the man tries to attack again. Julia kicks him in the face and runs to her kids. The kids see their dad, Tom, and try to hug him, hoping he will wake up. Sadly, Tom is dead, and they cannot even grieve because the man is still alive and coming for them. Julia, Cassie, and Ben run toward 3 mountains. When they get far enough, they stop to catch their breath. Then they keep moving toward the submarine. A few minutes later, Ben runs into a shark. It cannot survive long because there is no water. Julia tells Ben to keep walking and uses her binoculars to see the dangerous man still chasing them. The family hurries away. On the way, they see pollution like oil barrels and plastic bottles scattered on the ground. Hours pass, and Ben feels dizzy from tiredness and thirst. He starts feeling sick. Julia runs to get a water bottle but finds out Cassie did not close it properly. Only a few drops are left. Julia gets mad and tells Cassie it is her fault. Without water, they might not survive. Julia and Cassie argue, saying the whole trip was pointless. But Julia yells at them to keep going. They find a crashed plane in the desert and decide to stay there for the day, making it their temporary home. As Julia sits in a seat, she sees a photo from her sister's birthday and misses Tom terribly. Cassie asks how her parents met. Julia says she met Tom in a hospital where she was training to be a doctor. Tom was hurt during a college project and brought to the hospital. Julia took care of him, and when he woke up, he fell in love with her instantly. They started dating, but Tom had to go back to Germany for his studies. Months later, he returned to Miami with a job offer. The job required Julia's support, so Tom proposed to her. But Cassie stays awake and goes outside the plane to do something. She does not know the dangerous man is hiding nearby, ready to attack. Julia wakes up, sees him, and stabs him in the back with her knife. She stabs his heart again, fueled by anger for her husband's death. She keeps stabbing him, letting out all her pain. Cassie is shocked but hugs her mom to calm her down and make her drop the knife. The man is finally dead, and the family sleeps peacefully that night. The next morning, they see an animal has torn the man's body apart. Julia worries something even more dangerous is nearby. She tells her kids to start moving again. Thirsty, Cassie drinks dirty water without thinking. Julia and Ben pull her away so she does not get sick. They reach a field with broken chairs and make a temporary camp. Julia gives Ben medicine to prevent sickness from the dirty water. They are too tired to keep going, so they rest. Julia hears strange noises getting closer, like an animal running. She grabs her kids and runs. They climb a hill and see a stuck cargo ship with a camp nearby. Julia asks for help, but the people there have guns and refuse, scared of strangers. The family hides inside cargo containers. Julia tells her kids to climb on top of the containers to avoid sea monsters. She starts climbing too, but a monster attacks her, hurting her leg. She still manages to get on top and stay safe. The other people are not so lucky. Sea monsters break into the containers and kill them. Julia passes out from her leg injury. When she wakes up the next morning, her kids are gone. She searches and finds Cassie, who went looking for help but found no one alive. The family searches for a place to stay, finds weapons left by the dead campers. Julia uses gunpowder to clean her leg wound and prevent infection. She turns on the radio and talks to the submarine. They say the creatures are arthropods from deep in the sea, now violent because of the high oxygen on land. They kill anything in their way. The submarine warns that the sea will return sooner than expected, flooding the area in hours. If they do not reach the submarine in time, the waves will sweep them away. The submarine fires a flare to show the way. Julia sees the direction they need to go. On the way, they cross a deep ditch filled with rocks. A big rock starts falling toward Cassie and Ben. Julia pushes them out of the way, but the rocks create a barrier between her and her kids. She tells them to keep going and save themselves. They refuse at first, but Julia insists she will find a way to them. Cassie and Ben run to the submarine. When they get there, the submarine is damaged, likely from arthropod attacks. Julia, still on the other side, wants her kids to get inside safely, even if it means giving up her spot. Cassie hears this and runs back to the ditch to get her mom. Ben gives Cassie a necklace from Julia for protection. At the ditch, Julia hears arthropods and shoots at them with a shotgun from the camp. But there are too many and she is almost out of bullets. Feeling hopeless, Julia waits for the end. Then Cassie appears above the rocks, saying there is one seat left in the submarine. Julia finds strength, climbs the rocks with Cassie's help, and they run to the submarine with hundreds of arthropods chasing them. The submarine is surrounded by sea creatures, but Julia, Cassie, and Ben get inside. Through the window, they see a massive wave coming. They buckle their seatbelts as the wave hits, pushing the submarine hard. After hours of uncertainty, the submarine feels steady, like it is on land. Julia opens the top door and sees they are in a city destroyed by the sea's waves. They feel relieved to have survived, and the story ends.